Ho, ho, ho. Are we going or what? No? Okay, cool. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. So, I imagine you are enjoying something tasty with somebody close to you for the evening. It's not likely that there's a lot of people out there tonight looking for videos to watch on YouTube, but I hope you're having a good evening wherever you are and whoever you're with and whatever you're enjoying, food-wise, drink-wise, snack-wise. I have been goofing around. I got a couple of interesting things over the last couple days as digital purchases because prices made themselves quite available. Man, I look like I'm death warmed over. I don't feel that bad anymore, but man. I did some perusing and I happened to find some good deals on some things that I'd been waiting on. My Christmas Eve was staying up way too late the night before and still waking up earlier than I would have otherwise in the afternoon. So not a lot of sleep. I got up, I made myself a pizza. A pepperoni pizza. I haven't had a pepperoni pizza in a little while. So I had pepperoni pizza for breakfast. A whole pepperoni pizza for breakfast. So that was a bit much. And then off and on kind of fighting the earache and still can't really hear through my right ear very much. But worked on some things online today and edited a video that took way longer to edit than it should have, and even longer to update than it should have, or upload than it should have. Don't know why it was dragging so much today, but it was whatever it was. I got some other things on my attention. I think it was last night. Man, time is moving so weird right now. I believe it was last night I happened to encounter the fact that RPG Maker MV was on a discounted rate and like a steep discount. Like I'd been watching it for months, expecting that maybe there would be a discount somewhere in the coming months before we hit New Year, and I saw no change, and I'd kind of given up on it. And then I just I saw an image or an ad somewhere about it, because once you've checked something out, Google starts to spam you with ads about it. And it reminded me it was there, so I went and took a look at it, and instead of $79.99, which is the price it's been for months, it was $20. And I said, "Oh, that's the moment I've been waiting for." Snap that up, and it took a couple hours to download it. And when I set it to download it, and I think I fell asleep. And when I woke up this morning, there were 2 of the files that it was working on that were over 3 or 4 gigabytes each that had to be re-downloaded because they didn't download quite right. So it was between yesterday and today that I downloaded that, and it's all zipped files, and it takes about, I think it's probably like 10 to 12 gigabytes. It's not small. And so I downloaded that, and I keep debating whether or not I'm going to download MV3D. I mean, it's another $20, so it's, now that I'm not paying $80 for the whole of MV, it's not a bad deal. I'm just going to refresh the page there, see if it's still 20. Yeah. So they do have a free version or a test version you can play with. In the meantime, I can still play with RPG Maker MV without the MV 3D software to make 3D games. I can just play around with doing what I can with RPG Maker and just have fun playing with that. And I can worry about investing the $20 at a later date for the MV3D. But I do also think I'm probably going to go through with the purchase of Kuma Kuma Manga DLC pack. I actually checked out yesterday, and it was still discounted to about $9.90 something, which is like a 10% discount. But right now it looks like it's 55% off for $4.91 for the whole DLC pack, which is Kuma Kuma Manga Editor, Kuma Kuma Custom Pose Evolution, Kuma Kuma Adventure Dungeon, and Kuma Kuma National Costumes. So I guess I'm going to download that later tonight as well. So some of those packages that I've been looking at using for doing creative stuff, they only within the last 3 days that I've been able to see have gone on discount. And so I snapped up some of those because the total cost to me right now at the end of all of this is probably going to be less than $30. Whereas we're talking about easily $100 worth of stuff a month ago. So I'm game for some of that playing around with stuff, just something to enjoy and take my mind off the fact that right now I'm not able to get together with family. I haven't been able to get together with family for the whole year. And I'm the only downtime I've gotten has been when I've been sick for over a week twice this year. I'm going right back to work on Saturday. That's going to be a fun mess. But I've also, I had conversations with some family on the phone, and it caused like that momentary of like, wait, what? I mean, like I knew we were coming up on today and tomorrow and New Year's quickly. But at the same time, it feels so distant and disconnected that I just sort of brain farted on like, what am I actually going to do for those days? Like today, like I had no real plans about what I was going to do for food. No special meals, no way of just celebrating the day by just doing something different. I had no thought on that. I'm like, it would seem unfortunate to let this day go by without doing something. So I should do something. But especially for tomorrow. So I started to put together a little bit of a last minute planning idea. I might not make the cinnamon rolls. I might not. It seems like it's going to be one of those, like, it takes more time than I necessarily want to do. Like a 10, 15 minutes of kneading dough. And if it's all just for me, then why would I spend the time doing it? I don't know. I was looking at the possibility of making homemade fried onions to do a smaller green bean casserole. I could do that. And then I'm just sort of like, is it worth it? And I go back and forth about it. But I think what I'm probably going to do, at least for tomorrow's breakfast, I want to make pancakes. I haven't had pancakes in a while. I think I did a taste test last year. One of the breakfast mukbangs early in the year. I think it was probably somewhere in January. Yeah, January or February. I had small pancakes as part of that. I legitimately think that was the last time I had pancakes. I've had French toast, but I haven't had pancakes in a while. So I want to do some pancakes. I'm probably going to do an apple cinnamon pancake. Maybe some toast and jam. A little bit of breakfast ham. Maybe an egg on the side. Sort of do a whole meal of it. And some oatmeal. I haven't had oatmeal in a long time, and I seem to remember when I was a kid. I don't know what your traditions were, but in our household, there was I don't know why I'm holding that, but our family tended to do an oatmeal breakfast. Actually, that's not true. What we used to do was cream of wheat. I don't much care for most oatmeals, but I can tolerate them. But cream of wheat, I cannot stand. I just have no desire to eat cream of wheat. So I would rather just do some oatmeal if I can. And then I probably do ham, maybe green bean casserole, and a potato dish for lunch, dinner. I think I'm probably only going to eat twice tomorrow anyway. Like a big breakfast and a big supper, and I guess a big brunch and a big dinner. And just call it there. That seems like a decent way to do it. Sleep in a little bit, have a big breakfast, have a little fun online, watch a movie or something, read a book, and generally just take a little bit of an easy time of it, because it's sort of my last day off before I go back to work, at least until roughly, I think, Tuesday. Is that New Year's? No, New Year's is or Thursday. So Tuesday the 29th is my next day off, which, I mean, it's not like I'm working a huge amount of time between Saturday and Tuesday. But yeah, and then from Tuesday through till probably a week after that, I'll be just booked solid full of doing stuff. Man, I really, even that Tuesday, the Tuesday the 5th, yeah, from Tuesday the 29th all the way through till Tuesday the 12th. Every one of my days is claimed. That's terrible. I'm not excited about that. But in the meantime, I will be working on trying to do some of my channel stuff for this channel and my other two channels. I'm trying to be a little more realistic and scale things back a bit so that I'm not overworking myself with these projects. But I do know that for me, it is very important to keep coming back here. just for the journaling and talking with you guys about the things I'm doing. And two, I want my monthly project challenges. I need to feel that enjoyment of working on creative projects again. And I know we did a few things this year, but I feel like even the things we did this year just got sabotaged. The ideas we brainstormed up for stories, we had to do that, what, 2 or 3 times because we had crashes and lost all the data. That's exhausting to just feel like everything you did is just obliterated. And I do recall the year before where we did weekly projects. I enjoyed that insanely much. I don't think that's grammatically correct, but that's fine. I enjoyed that a lot. When we did that in 2019, where every week, except for a few vacation weeks, we came up with a new project for the first 9 months of the year. I had a blast with that. And yeah, we hit some hurdles and I lost most of those projects in the computer crash. I have enough to work with to keep playing with them. Like, the creation of them has happened. The recreation of them is so much easier once you've created a thing. So there's definitely a part of me that wants to play in that playground again, because it really makes it feel like you're doing something with your days. It's not just passing time. Your days don't blend together quite the same way, although the amount of stuff you end up doing can definitely make it feel like you've chewed up a whole year real quick. It's funny. It's one of those weird things, I would say, like being creative like that and just working on and pumping out ideas to a degree, that has a tendency to make it feel like, you're constantly doing stuff and then you look up and months have passed. But at the same time, the act of doing so much, you feel like it when you're in the middle of it and when you're on the other side of it. Like, I lived a whole year this year, or this month, or this week. We see a little bit of an example of that with how people are responding to 2020, where there's like, wow, this year has been a hell of a decade. It's just like that sense of like so much has happened and it's just so much going on and so much that's really hard to get your feet back under you after going through, that it feels like 10 years worth of life have happened in this one year. And I totally get that feeling. And I've had that feeling in a more positive light in the past by doing projects that just so much happens in the course of time that it feels like you've lived more than one person's life during that time. I used to get it when I did National Novel Writing Month challenges. I got a sense of it when I was traveling across the country. I mean, it felt like I made 3 or 4 years worth of stuff going through the country like that. I went to each of the 50 lower states, or each of the 48 lower states. I haven't been to Alaska yet. I did go to Hawaii. So I've been to each of those states. I've been to, in many cases, an art exhibit, an art gallery, an art museum, or some graffiti alleys and some like beautiful landscape areas as I traveled. I went to a place in many of the locations I went to, and it was, without a doubt, one of the most interesting adventures I've ever had. But I did so much that it feels like it was really it feels like it was probably at least 1.5 years, possibly 2.5 years worth. But what it really was I left early January and I finished that trip I want to say, like, I finished the first leg out and back in April, late April, and then halfway through May, I did all my, taxes and paperwork stuff um, in time, and I set out again in late May, early June, and I traveled back out, hit some of the other areas that I hadn't been to, attended a convention for makers, and then traveled across the top of the country, catching some of the other locations I hadn't been able to secure yet. And then I feel like I'm trying to remember. I think it was that second leg of the journey got me coming back a little bit before school started. So all told, January, February, March, well, mid-April because we stayed, May, June, July, August. I had about 6 or 7 months of traveling, but it felt like 2 years roughly of adventure. And to me, that's how to fill a life. Like we've all got limited time on this planet. That's sort of a weird thing to talk about on Christmas Eve, but we've got a limited time on. That's beautiful. We got a limited time on this. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. I just made it so much worse. We've got a limited amount of time on this planet, and I would rather have 2 years worth of adventure in 7 months than I would have 3 years worth of work in 8 months. Like, I want to explore, learn, do, share, and celebrate things until I feel like I've lived 3 different people's lives every year. It's just like that to me is a life well spent. And I would like to live a life well spent. So that's really what I'm hoping for this coming year, is to get a little bit of that back. So I hope you're having a life well spent where you are. I think for now, I will wish you a happy Christmas and a holly jolly holiday, whatever your holidays may be. And I will catch you again on Sunday, Tuesday, and New Year's Eve. So until then, I want you to take care of yourself, stay safe, and happy holidays. And I'm losing hearing in my left ear now, too. I don't know what it is that causes that to happen right now, but take care. Catch you later.